Friends and family are getting ready to say goodbye to a Central Kentucky firefighter who died after fighting a fire. The request from his widow, now at 4.
After a dreary day, a little sunshine starting to show across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. Straight ahead, we're tracking the potential for record warm temperatures.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo on this dreary afternoon across the Bluegrass. Some places are seeing rain right now and temperatures in the 50s. Here's a live look at downtown Lexington from our Rupp Arena Skycam, where UK takes on EKU in a few hours. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris, right now some places though are seeing the sun.
Yeah, we're starting to see our first little sliver of sun here in Lexington, as well as a lot of the showers into parts of eastern Kentucky now. Clearing line is working its way into sections of central Kentucky. Good looking sky cam right now over top of the Hamburg Pavilion area, where you still have the departing clouds to the east, a little more in the way of some breaks showing up across the west. 55 degrees, humidity at 72%, though winds coming at us from the southwest at 11 miles an hour. That southwesterly flow is going to continue to be noted over the next several days. You notice the clouds really breaking up the farther west that we look on our Defender radar network. Shower chances, well, those were small to begin with today, and across eastern Kentucky getting in on at least some very light raindrops that are pushing on through the region. A lot more bark than bite from the clouds. Then we take you into the Plain States, and we start to see now some milder air bubbling up. As a matter of fact, that's a warm air surge that is developing across the plains. It has a ticket for the Bluegrass State as we head into the weekend. We'll track the possibility of record highs and thunderstorms with a big system. Jennifer, when I come back in about 15 minutes.
We're tracking a breaking news alert out of Lexington right now. Police are investigating after a man was shot. They say he ran into the driver's license branch off Winchester Road after being shot looking for help. Garrett Weimer is live at the scene with the latest. Garrett.
Well, Jennifer, there's a lot less activity now than there was here at Village East Plaza just a few moments ago. Now, we're still unsure at this time just what exactly happened, but a witness told me he saw a car, this purplish reddish Mazda, pull up. He said he saw a man get out and run inside the driver's licensing center here. Now, when I pulled up, I did see a man being wheeled out of that office on a stretcher. After that, folks were let back inside the building, but you can see there on that car the bullet hole visible in the back window and some other damage to that car as well. But that's about all we know at this moment. Still a developing story, and when we get more information, we'll pass that along to you. Live in Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
In an hour, family, friends, and firefighters will begin saying goodbye to a fallen Central Kentucky firefighter. Montgomery County Fire Captain Zach Clevenger died over the weekend after fighting a fire. His visitation begins at 5 o'clock. Sean Moody is live in Mount Sterling with our top story at 4. Sean.
Hey there, Jennifer. Captain Jack Clevenger's procession left Betaville early this afternoon before getting here in Montgomery County shortly after. Firefighters are inside Living Water Church right now getting things ready for that visitation. Firefighters say Captain Zach Clevenger fought a fire in Estill County late Friday night. The coroner says he passed away early Saturday morning. The coroner said preliminary results showed that Clevenger's death was heart-related. This evening, we expect to see a lot of people come out to pay their respects. Fellow firefighters stood at attention as Captain Clevenger's procession made its way through Montgomery County. Here now at Living Water Church, there are police and fire officials getting things ready. There's a family visitation from right about now until 5 o'clock. Then that public visitation starts at 5 o'clock and goes until 9 o'clock this evening. Live in Montgomery County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Clevenger's pregnant widow asked that instead of flowers, people donate to their local fire departments in honor of Chase, their unborn child. A Central Kentucky community continues to step up in a big way to help the family of a young murder victim. A GoFundMe page for the family of Logan Tipton has raised nearly $40,000. The site shows more than 1,000 people have contributed to the fund. 6-year-old Logan Tipton was stabbed to death in his Versailles home early Monday morning. Logan's visitation is tomorrow at Clark Funeral Home in Versailles. In order to accommodate the large number of mourners expected, his funeral has been moved to the community stadium at Falling Springs Park in Woodford County. We have new information about Logan's accused killer on WKYT News at 5. It's game night at Rupp Arena with Kentucky taking on EKU. And for fans, it's going to mean new security measures tonight. That's because of what Rupp officials call changes in the world environment. Rupp has a list of more than a dozen banned items, including backpacks, video recorders, and selfie sticks, as well as purses bigger than 16 by 16 inches. Beginning earlier this year, fans have had to remove their coats and submit to additional screening if they're wearing bulky or baggy clothing. We'll have more details on what you need to know ahead of tonight's game on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. And tip-off for tonight's game at Rupp is set for 7 o'clock. You can watch the game on ESPN2. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. We are learning more about a federal raid in Montgomery County. An IRS spokesperson tells WKYT that agents with the FBI, USDA, and IRS criminal investigation units are serving search warrants at several locations. Victor Puente will join us from Mount Sterling with the very latest on WKYT News at 4:30. Police in Southern Kentucky spent the day rounding up suspected drug dealers. The Pulaski County Sheriff says they had 80 arrest warrants for people suspected of trafficking oxycodone, heroin, meth, prescription drugs, and marijuana.
The Sheriff's Office, as well as the state police, have found that drug trafficking has to do with almost every crime in the Commonwealth. Burglaries, anything that has to do with crime in some way is affected by the drug trafficking trade.
Most of those people were charged with trafficking in a controlled substance and taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. We'll have an update on WKYT News at 4:30. That is a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to a story making headlines across the nation at 4. The U.S. Defense Secretary says the United States is building momentum against ISIS, while some skeptical lawmakers say progress is too slow to keep up with the terrorists. Emily Schmidt is in Washington with changes that could be coming in the fight abroad and here at home.
We welcome our distinguished witnesses.
In the month and a half since Defense Secretary Ashton Carter last appeared before the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator John McCain says ISIS has caused or inspired hundreds of deaths. A Russian airliner downed over Egypt, a bombing in Beirut, the Paris attacks, and the San Bernardino shootings.
In short, the threat is growing and evolving faster than the administration's efforts to counter it.
The reality is we're at war.
Defense Secretary Carter says even though ISIS is not contained, he thinks President Obama's strategy is working and expanding. He opened the possibility that U.S. military advisors could accompany Iraqi forces on the ground as they look to retake Ramadi from ISIS, with Apache helicopters helping from the air.
The United States is prepared to assist the Iraqi army with additional unique capabilities to help them finish the job.
Republican senators on the panel challenged U.S. policy. They say it's drifting and they want faster action.
And are we going to be more aggressive in really going after these assets going forward?
Yes, we're going to be more aggressive, and what made it possible was intelligence.
Carter says it will take assistance, asking lawmakers to free up $116 million to help U.S.-backed forces, and emphasizing that other countries need to contribute more special forces, aircraft, training, and weapons.
The international community, including our allies and partners, has to step up before another attack like Paris.
His message, ISIS is doing more, so the world must do more. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
A new study looks at just how much time people are spending on the internet. What it found next on WKYT News at 4. And pet owners are letting their furry friends in on the Christmas fun. How many people are buying their pets presents?